All right, second video of the night. I saw this reel earlier, and it had like 500,000 likes, and it was talking about how it was obviously kind of joking, and fun, but this guy was like, I used to have a mental illness of thinking that arguing with logic and facts would change someone's mind, and it doesn't. And I agree with that, but he continued talking and said something along the lines of, because their arguments are based on their beliefs and not actual fact. And sometimes I guess that can be the truth if someone's rage baiting you or just trying to get something out of you. But I also think it's a little slightly wrong way to look at things, because given the same information and same facts and evidence, different people will come up with different conclusions. And this even happens on just a single person basis. Like your emotion, your mental state will change the outcomes you come to given the exact same information. Like, let's say you've had a long day at work, you're a little agitated. Someone says something and you just snap on them because you're already irritated. You got this information and you perceived it as a threat. But let's say a different day, you're in a great mood, someone says the exact same thing, but you don't bat an eye at it just because, you're having a good day. And it's the same information, the same data, the same evidence coming in that you're perceiving, but you're coming to a different conclusion on your own. So naturally, because different people have different lived experiences, their ways of processing things and logically going through things are slightly different. Obviously, they're probably going to come up with a different conclusion than you are. And just discounting them as unintelligent or stupid it's just the wrong way to go about things, because I think you should try. Let me think for a second about how I want to say this. Rather than discounting someone, just calling them stupid, they could probably be thinking the same exact thing about you, but you guys are given all the same evidence. And also sometimes the way you're trying to explain things may not be very, how do I put it? The way you're explaining things might not be very efficient, or maybe you're not explaining the exact same way that you're thinking it. It's really hard to put all of your thoughts into words. I was just thinking about, like, this is an example, like, I know what I'm trying to say, but I'm struggling to find the words to say it. A lot of these arguments can also come from miscommunication. A lot of the times I've noticed when we will get in, me and like some of my roommates will get into stupid arguments, everyone's, like, looking back on it, everyone's argument makes sense, but a lot of it is we weren't sure exactly what each other were arguing. It was miscommunication. And then once we realized exactly what the other person was saying, like, oh, well, obviously, yeah. So when you're in situations like this, well, I think the smart thing to do is called steel manning their argument rather than straw manning. So steel manning is, well, what I would first do is take what they're telling you and say, wait, are you saying this? And you just restate what they're saying in the way that you think it is. If they say yes, or like, no, that's not what I'm trying to say at all, then that will solve some of the issues. And if it's yes, what I want you to do is I want you to support their argument, because if you're able to support their side, you understand what they're saying. And so at that point, miscommunication is likely not the cause of this problem. So, in conclusion, when arguing with somebody and you do not understand them at all, or it seems like they are not understanding a word you're saying, rather than discounting their intelligence, it's important to first try to completely understand what they're trying to say and recognize that people can come to different conclusions based on their mental state and their just own lived experience, and try to be able to understand their side and even support their side, because most of these arguments will be just miscommunications, and that's why you guys aren't seeing eye to eye.